Maria had never imagined her life would twist into something so heavy, so strange, and so dangerously beautiful the day she stepped through the towering iron gates of the Blackwood mansion, her hands trembling, her old shoes wet from the rain, and her heart beating with both fear and hope as she walked into a world completely opposite of the life she had always known. She was just 19, innocent, untouched by love, the daughter of a woman who cleaned houses all her life, and now, after her mother's death, she had taken a maid job no one else dared to take because it belonged to the richest yet most broken men in the city. Adrian Blackwood, the paralyzed millionaire everyone whispered about, the man who once ruled industries like a king before a tragic car accident left him unable to walk and, as rumors said, unable to feel anything anymore, neither in his body nor his heart. Maria had no idea what kind of man he was, she only knew that she desperately needed the job to pay her brother's school fees and survive, but when she entered his dim, chilly room for the first time, she nearly froze, not out of fear, but out of shock, because Adrian was nothing like the cold, monstrous man people painted him as. He was breathtakingly handsome, painfully silent, sitting in his massive wheelchair with his head tilted slightly downward, his well-built body looking strong despite his paralysis, his deep gray eyes staring at the window like he was waiting for something that would never come back. The nurse whispered to Maria that the regular caretaker had quit that morning and Maria would have to handle his evening bath, and Maria felt her cheeks burn because she had never even been near a naked man in her life, and the idea of touching one, a broken one, a lonely one, made her chest tighten with a feeling she didn't understand yet. When Maria stepped closer, the faint scent of his cologne mixed with the sadness in the room hit her so hard that she almost forgot how to breathe, but she gathered courage and greeted him softly, only to receive silence in return, a silence that felt heavier than anger. Slowly, she wheeled him to the bathroom, her hands trembling, and Adrian kept his face turned away as though he didn't want anyone to see the shame that lived inside him because needing help with such an intimate act felt like a punishment he never deserved. But Maria didn't judge him, not even for a second. She filled the warm water, her fingers shivering as she gently soaked a cloth and pressed it against his chest, and the moment her hand touched his skin, she felt him flinch, not out of disgust, but out of shock, as though it had been years since he had felt the softness of another human being. Maria swallowed hard, trying to focus, but seeing the scars on his torso, the ones from the accident, the ones that stole his mobility, made her eyes sting with tears she fought desperately to hide because she didn't want him to think she pitied him. Yet the more she watched him, the more she realized this man wasn't cold at all. He was wounded, deeply, painfully wounded, trapped in a body that no longer obeyed him and a life that no longer made sense, and she, a virgin maid with no experience, was suddenly the only person close enough to witness the most fragile version of him. Adrian finally spoke in a low, rough voice, asking why she wasn't disgusted like the others, why she didn't look away, why she didn't tremble in fear, and Maria, with tears now slipping down her cheeks, whispered that she wasn't crying because she was scared, she was crying because she could feel his pain, the pain he never said aloud, the pain he carried like a silent storm. Adrian stiffened, shocked by her honesty, by her gentleness, by the strange warmth her touch carried, and for the first time in so long, he felt something flicker inside him, hope, or maybe gratitude, or perhaps something more dangerous, something he wasn't ready to name. Maria continued bathing him slowly, carefully, respectfully, her tears mixing with the steam in the air as she promised, without even realizing she was speaking, that she would never treat him like a burden, never look away from him, never see him as anything less than a man. Adrian's breath hitched, and he closed his eyes to hide the shattering ache in them because this girl, this fragile yet brave young woman, was breaking through walls he swore no one could ever touch. By the time she finished and wrapped him in a towel, Maria felt emotionally drained, shaken by how deeply she felt connected to a man she had known for less than an hour, and as she wheeled him back to his room, he finally looked at her, really looked at her, and whispered a quiet, "Thank you," the kind of thank you that held years of loneliness behind it. That night, Maria sat in her tiny servant room, unable to sleep, replaying every moment, every trembling breath, every silent plea she saw in his eyes, and she realized something terrifying. Adrian wasn't the only one whose life had changed in that bathroom. Her life, her heart, and perhaps even her destiny had taken a turn she could never undo. The next morning, she found him awake early, watching her with a kind of curiosity and longing that made her heart race, and she knew deep inside that this story, their story, was only beginning, a story of healing, of tenderness, of two broken souls finding each other in the most unexpected way. And as you continue watching this emotional journey unfold, where innocence meets heartbreak, where a maid becomes the light in a millionaire's darkness, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because the next chapters are even deeper, more shocking, and more beautiful than anything you've imagined, and you won't want to miss a single moment of this incredible story.